As to question number 5, relating exactly regarding the revolutionary changes effected by the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. So we found certain revolutionary changes made under the Act as it introduced the monogamy form of Hindu marriage. So it prohibited polygamy and also made it an offense. So it permitted intercaste marriage, and it also permitted the marriage between the persons belonging to same gotra. And the act also clearly defined what is Sapinda and abolished the distinction made between the Mitakhya and Devak schools about Sapinda relationship, and also it defined exactly what is prohibited degree of relationship for the very purpose of Hindu marriage. So also it prescribed the minimum age of marriage, and it provided new matrimonial reliefs like restitution of conjugal rights, judicial separation, nullity of marriage, and divorce. So also the Act allowed the right of claiming alimony, also permanent maintenance, and the Act confirmed legitimacy to children born out of void and voidable marriages. So the Act provided right for disposal of property, and the very changes also made under the Marriage Laws Amendment Act 1976, it also provided divorce by mutual consent, and also it introduced Section 21B to expedite the trial of petitions within 6 months, and also made a change regarding that a single act of voluntary sexual intercourse with any other person is adultery. So there are some new changes which were effected under the very act. So it effected both under the original act, that is the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, and consequently the Marriage Laws Amendment Act 1976. So also the very question of sacrament and a civil contract, as we found the very feature of sacrament as relating to the very religious ceremony, and that is otherwise called marriage ceremonies as provided under section 7. So it provides performance of Kanyadana, Panigrahan, and Saptapadi are essential to complete a Hindu marriage. And so the very question of marriage ceremony as to relating to its sacrament is recognized under the Act, and as regarding it as a civil contract, the very changes that effected either under the original Act of 1955 or by the Marriage Laws Amendment Act 1976 regarding certain new features like restitution of conjugal rights, judicial separation, nullity of marriage, and divorce. So, these new features made such effect that some consider the very marriage as a civil contract, but it is not a civil contract, neither it is wholly a sacrament, but we found the combination of both the features. So it is a sacrament. So we found certain features of the marriage as a civil contract. So these are the very important provisions as we found under the Act, and as restitution of conjugal rights, as one withdraw from the society of other without reasonable excuse, the court is satisfied of the truth of the statement in the petition, then there is no legal ground why the application should not be granted. So, regarding that, the burden of proving reasonable excuse shall be on the person who has withdrawn from the society of the other. And as regarding judicial separation, as provided under section 10, enables either party to a marriage to move for a decree of judicial separation. So the grounds specified in section 13. So due to the provisions of section 10 with reference to section 13, a decree of judicial separation is sometimes considered as a stepping stone to divorce. So, regarding exactly void marriages as provided under section 11 and voidable marriages under section 12, and these two are the new features as provided under the Act. So this is also a kind of revolutionary change brought under the Act. So also the very new feature, divorce, which was completely a new feature, and as it was absent in the old Hindu law, and as regarding to the very contractual nature of Hindu marriage, here we found the fault theory of divorce, the breakdown theory of divorce, and also the consent theory of divorce as provided respectively under section 13.1 and section 13.1a, and regarding consent theory of divorce that under section 13b, and all these were added under amending act of 1976. Both these two theories of divorce, the breakdown theory and consent theory, were added. And regarding the very grounds of divorce, we found adultery, also cruelty, desertion, conversion, unsoundness of mind, leprosy, venereal disease, renunciation of the world. So, these are the different grounds which are provided under the Act as the various grounds of divorce. So, by discussing these very features of Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and the Marriage Laws Amendment Act 1976, we can conclude that exactly the Marriage Act and the Marriage Laws Amendment Act brought revolutionary changes and which affected the very format and the content of Hindu marriage.